All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 495 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football, and we are 5 episodes away from 500. We're just moving right along, and hopefully we'll just continue to do 500 more, but we got to get to 500 first, right? Right. Uh, Today we're going to talk more Atlanta Falcons. Not much on the Georgia Southern scene. Just waiting for those guys to go ahead and beat up on Buffalo on the 27th. So we basically have, about a week away from that game. Can't wait to talk about that because I want to see my Georgia Southern Eagles, get another bowl win. Nevertheless, we're going to talk about Desmond Ridder in his debut against the Saints. We're going to evaluate that. I'm also going to look at an article that I've seen. I'm pretty sure it's all over the place. If you haven't seen it, it is on the San Diego Union Tribune. I don't know if it's subscription based or not, but I'm going to put the link down in the description. Maybe you'll still be able to see the article. And I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions as well as compared to what Desmond Ridder said about himself. I find it very interesting. Also, before we get out of here, I'm going to just, give you my thoughts and opinions about the total package of what the Falcons organization and the fan base is up against, in my opinion. So we're going to talk about all that. If this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. I just want to thank you guys for continuously supporting. I cannot thank you guys enough. It's just been really awesome to see that people do, listen and they give feedback and all the other great stuff. Before we get into this, one more thing I got to tell you guys. This show is brought to you by BetUS. That is the affiliate link. Click that link down in the description. Put down $100. Get a 125% bet book bonus on your sports book. And you can start putting in wagers on all these games that are coming up. The World Cup just ended. Hopefully you made money off that. You got other games that's going to have a lot of playoff implications in the NFL. NBA is still going on. And we still got some bowl games going on. So go ahead and put some wagers down on those and double, triple, quadruple your money, depending on how you want to put your money down on these sports books. $100. Get a 125% bet book bonus with that link down there. Go ahead and check that out. All right, I'm going to get up into this. Desmond Ridder, 13 to 26, 97 yards. You look at those numbers are abysmal. I'll be the first one to tell you, those numbers were not impressive at all. It was actually pretty pathetic. I think he was up to 60 yards in the third quarter. It was just not looking good. And I would say that Desmond Ridder is going to have a lot to learn. He's going to have to do a lot, because me personally, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Ridder's not the answer. I mean, hell, Mariota wasn't the answer. I mean, Ridder's not the answer. We don't know what these guys are. I know Marcus Mariota should just did better for all the time he's been in the league. I thought he was going to, with his pretty much his second chance of being a starting quarterback, I thought he was going to be like a lot better than what he was. But from what we see with Desmond Ridder, it looks like Arthur Smith played Desmond Ridder exactly like he did with Marcus Mariota because the results are in. But I will say this, Desmond Ridder looked like he was much more poised. He didn't get rattled a lot. He didn't make a lot of mistakes. I know the first part of the game, he was like amped up. He was throwing like wild deep passes. And that's how it is when you first, your first game or whatever, you always see these rookie jitters or whatever the case may be. But after that, he slowed down a little bit. It just looked like the opportunities was not there in the passing game. And I would equip that to a lot of not many receivers getting open. The receivers wasn't getting open. It's not like he missed players or overthrew players or it was just bad passes. I think he did a lot of passes that were pretty nice, in tight windows, that was pretty accurate. Even the interception that was thrown, I ain't gonna say it was an interception. It could have been an interception, but it was called back because the DB for the Saints stepped out of bounds. That ball was in a good place. That DB just made an excellent play on reaching out to get that ball. So I think the ball placement is one of the things that was hindering Mariota. The ball placement is not bad at all, considering. I think he did pretty decent on that level. I think what the thing is you just did not have much separation when it comes to the actual receivers. Drake London did pretty good. He had 7 catches for 70 yards. But after that, there was a huge drop-off. I think the next person was my Cole Pruitt with 2 catches for 20 yards. Then you turn back around and you doing all these, I ain't gonna do all these trick plays. You did 2 trick plays that was like unwarranted. It really wasn't needed to do those type of plays, especially when you're not in control of the game. So, in my opinion, I think I think Ridder did okay. I mean, there's a lot that he could fix. I think there's a lot that he could fix at the end of the day. I think he needs to come in, and I think he'll do this. I think he'll do this next game. I don't think he'll come in as hyped and jittered and nervous as he was. That's one thing that you want to see not happen. So that's cool. And also you would want to see him be a little bit more efficient, because you got to understand, even though the ball placement was there, the accuracy was there, you still were 13 to 26. You know what I'm saying? So you were like, if you're going to pass the ball 26 times, I want to see you be 20 for 26. You know what I'm saying? And this is one thing I've been saying, like, I don't know if it's because of the play calling or was it anything else, but I'm going to have to wait and see if Ridder is really the problem here when it comes to actually saying, like, okay, Ridder is not putting the ball where it needs to be, because when you look at Marcus Mariota, he was literally not putting the ball where it needed to be. He was like he was not accurate at times. He threw the ball in crazy situations, and it's just some of his decision making was like pretty questionable. One thing I will say, for the most part, Ridder played very safe, and I think being able to play in an environment like in the Saints Caesar Superdome, and for him to keep that kind of composure, I think he was all right. I want him to be better. Them numbers, they look abysmal, but when you look at him on the field, it seemed like it was he was okay. The one play that was a backbreaker was the Drake London fumble on 4th and 5. That was a backbreaker. And that right there, if we would have kept on with that drive, I think we would have ended up scoring, because we had those guys on their heels. With a little bit of safe passing in the running game, we were doing really well. So I think that it's something to pretty much, look forward to going down in the future, next 3 games. Now, I want to look at this Chicago. Sorry, I want to look at this. I'm trying to think. Oh, San Diego Union Tribune. I'm just looking at something else. I'm sorry. I want to look at the San Diego Union Tribune article here. I'm going to paraphrase a good bit that I've seen here. And first of all, I thought he was okay. And but Desmond Ridder says he gives himself a C- or a D, which is kind of, all right, I see you're pretty honest with yourself. And he said, let's see, it was really good in the execution, coming out of the huddle, getting the play call and getting to the line of scrimmage, plenty of time on the play clock. Post snap, I felt obviously I could have done better. And that's what I'm saying. It's like the 13 to 26, I think he did okay, but he could have done better, because 13 to 26, 13 to 26. However you want to put it, you got to do a little bit better than that. Coach Smith also says he's not scared of the moment. He's poised. I like what he's made of. It says a lot about. Yeah, like I said, he did not get rattled. You playing in the Caesar Superdome against the Saints, your hated rival, and you up against that crowd and everything, and it did not seem like he was overwhelmed at all. It's just that, he just didn't execute on certain things. Some passes look good. I think a couple of passes was like wonky, but I think he did all right. Let's see. They got to do better with ball security. That's how the ball popped out. That's Drake London's second time fumbling. Atlanta trailed 14-0 early, but Ridder immediately admitted he was too amped up at the start, forcing the deep ball instead of looking for open receivers on shorter routes. This is the problem that I had in the beginning. You don't have to be so aggressive. I get it. Your first time out there, you're a little amped up, you're hyped, you're getting the nervousness out of the way, you got the jitters, and this is where it was. The execution was not where it wanted to be. On some of those deep balls, I got to give the guys a chance to go make a play. I tried to be too perfect and put it out in front of them. In reality, all you have to do is give them a chance. And he will learn that. Obviously, you're going to have nerves and anxiety just getting out there for your first start in a crazy environment. But this is all what all of us dreamed coming into the NFL. There are a lot of emotions, but I settled in after the first drive. I just said that. I said that going into the first 5 minutes of this show. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So after that, they end up going down 49 yards drives and getting a field goal, and they end up getting a touchdown. They made the game 14-10 at one point, and it looked like they was going to be able to do something. Even when the Saints went back and went up ahead 21-10, the Falcons capitalized on a good punt return, and they made the score 21-18 after a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And out of all of that, I'm not upset with the way this game played out because the 2 touchdowns that the Saints got kind of broke our back. And I know I was talking to some guys on the Atlanta Falcons Nation. You go check those guys out on YouTube. One guy said that you cannot give the other team opportunities. It's something that the defense do. The defense will give even though I don't have a complete issue with the defense, but they made a really good point. The defense gives up plays at the wrong time. That third touchdown was the play that we should not have given up. We need to hold these guys to 14 points. You hold them to 14 points, you probably would have won this game. Even so, even though they did get 21, we still had a chance to win this game with the drive at the end before the fumble. So this is the thing I will say here. I think the total package of it all, when you look at what my thoughts are, what Desmond Ridder and Coach Arthur Smith said in this article, and also what we have as a package, there's going to be more rough sledding going on with this team. I believe that they can still pull off the next 3 games to be a win because the Bucs look crazy right now. The Ravens look crazy right now. The Cardinals don't have their quarterback. So these next 3 games are winnable games. All of these games, if you look at every game that we played this season, outside of the Bengals game, every game we have is winnable. I really feel, once again, and I know people don't like to say this, or they don't like to talk about this, if this team can execute, and they're going to continue to have a bend, don't break. That's just going to be the nature of it. You can look at pretty much any game out there in the NFL right now. Every team has a bend but don't break mentality. I have yet to see like a lights out defense. Even when the Dallas Cowboys show that they can be a lights out defense, they can turn around and lose a game. They just lost to the Jaguars. So what I will say is you just have to execute. If you execute and just continue to stay on top of your execution and find ways to take advantage of opportunities, these next 3 games can be much easier than we want. The first two scores that the Saints got was pretty much the deciding factor of the game. You just can't let a team get out ahead of you like that, and you got to play catch up, especially when you are a run first team. So the Falcons should be fine. I don't think the defense is necessarily the big issue. I still believe with all the shortcomings that are around here, we still need to get better in the passing game. We get better in the passing game, we can beat anybody. I'll continue to talk about that for the rest of the season. Because regardless, you have Tyler Algier with his breakout game for running for 130 plus yards. You have, the defense actually shutting down this offense after the first quarter, where the defense basically didn't give up nothing but a touchdown after the fact. The offense going to have to do something. That's just what it is. The offense, I'm sorry, I'll take that back. The passing game is going to have to do something. And like I said, I get it. It's his first game. And it's mediocre numbers. But I did like what I see at the end overall, especially after the first quarter. I don't have an issue with what I saw from Desmond Ridder. I believe he's going to get better. I think he's going to be all right. I think these numbers are going to get a little bit better. I think his command of the team is going to get better. I think that the way things are going with this team, I think he's going to find ways to get better, even with the depletion of a Kyle Pitts, or not necessarily having a number 2. Because you got to understand, we got like 1 or 2 plays away from literally winning this game. But I will say this before we go. Coach Arthur Smith definitely needs to make things a little bit more simpler for Desmond Ridder. at least in the beginning of the game. Get him out there to get him in a rhythm. Let him get some confidence. Let him get him in a really good groove. Let him get in the groove because you can see it. He looks like a guy like once he get in a groove and gets in a good little run, gets some momentum, he's gonna be really good, feeling really comfortable on the football field. But you gotta give it to him. You gotta give him that opportunity. But I think they'll be okay. May not be for the end of may not be for this season, but I think in the long run, I think they'll be fine because this team is set up pretty good. You may need another number 2 receiver. You may need to go in and get Kyle Pitts back out there after his injury. But I think they're going to be fine. I mean, this 21-18 loss is a bummer. You'd never like to lose to your rival, but seeing what you saw after that first quarter, it's going to be all right. I'm not saying that they're going to be, they're going to be the number 1 team in the NFC South, but the way this is set up, there's no reason why you can't say they can't win these games because they were really pretty much, they pretty much was, neck and neck with the Saints, even throughout this entire game. So we'll see. If you like this, comment, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about his debut? If you don't mind, read the article. Find out what you think about the article and give yourself, a second look at the entire situation. I think they did okay. I think they could have been a lot better, but I think they could have been okay. If they played a little like this the entire 4 quarters, I think they would have been fine. All right, y'all. I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.